I'm Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBuzz, and welcome to episode number 14 of the InnovaBuzz podcast, designed to help smart businesses with an interest in innovation and the Internet of Things become even more productive. Now, today I've got my arm in a sling, so don't mind that. I hope it's not a distraction, but we had a wonderful podcast interview today with a very passionate entrepreneur. It was my great privilege to have with me in this episode Miguel Nieva of ColorADD, a company that is transforming visual communication through a simple and universal inclusive code that represents colors. Now, what that does, of course, is it enables people who are colorblind to recognize color, which is pretty amazing. Now, through ColorADD, Miguel is building a world where the social inclusion of colorblind people becomes the norm. That's his passion. And passion really comes through in this whole interview. You'll hear that in his voice, in his animation. That's the thing that really drives him. He is a very passionate entrepreneur, and the system he's developed is a very simple system, but at the same time a very powerful tool to help make life better for the 350 million colorblind people in the world. He is not only a passionate and committed to his business in a passionate way, his idea and the principle that design should be a service to the community, but he's also passionate about his purpose of working with people and for people to make a difference to improve people's lives. Now, today's innovation tip is indeed around Miguel's concept of passion, and it's find your own passion. What are you passionate about? What would you do if you weren't being paid for it? So Miguel points out that first and foremost, it's the passion that drives him, and the rewards follow from the passion. So do what you're passionate about, identify what you're passionate about, and if you're doing something that you're not passionate about, stop doing it. Find what you're passionate about, do that. Don't focus on the rewards, focus on the service, focus on being passionate about helping people improve their lives. That's the way Miguel does his, and we can learn a lot from him in this interview. Before we meet Miguel, a quick competition announcement. This week's competition prize is sponsored by InnovaBuzz, where we help smart business owners save time and money and grow their business by making their websites achieve more. The prize is a copy of Erik the Red Sees Green, a short story by Julie Anderson and Cornelius Spilman. Story of a child that discovers in his art class that he is colorblind, and how then his parents, his teachers, and his friends figured out solutions that worked and helped him with his unique way of seeing. I thought that was very appropriate to today's topic, and it's a fascinating little short story. So stick around for details on how you can enter the competition to win that prize later on in the interview. Let's now go to the Innovation Hive and get the buzz from Miguel Nieva.
This is the InnovaBuzz podcast, helping smart businesses be even more innovative.
Hi, I'm Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBuzz, and I'm really excited to have here with me today, all the way from Porto in Portugal, I believe, Miguel Nieva of ColorADD. So welcome to the podcast, Miguel. It's a real privilege to have you here.
All right, good morning. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me.
Yeah, now obviously we're in different time zones, so it's evening for me, but early morning for Miguel. So I appreciate you getting up early for us.
More than 12, yes?
Now, ColorADD is a system that Miguel has been working on and has developed over the past 10 years or so. It's a system to allow colorblind people to recognize color. Now, when you consider that 10% of the male population and about 0.5% of the female population of the world are colorblind, that's about 350 million people right across the world, then you can imagine what an amazing tool ColorADD, which helps those people actually recognize color, what an amazing tool that it is, and it's a real privilege to have Miguel here, and we'll get him to tell us about that. But before we do that, I'll just announce today's competition prize, and I thought this was appropriate to the theme and the guest today. It's a copy of a book called Erik, the Red Sees Green by Julie Anderson and Cornelius Spilman. And it's the story of a child that discovers in his art class that he's colourblind, and how then his parents, his teachers and friends figure out solutions that work and help him with his unique way of seeing. So it's an excellent story about everyone working together to help Erik, and I thought it was a good fit with today's guest. So stick around to find out how you can enter the draw to win that prize later on in the interview. So Miguel, before we learn about ColorADD and the innovative way you've developed this idea to be a practical tool for people that suffer from colour blindness, tell us a little bit about yourself. What did you initially set out to do when you were a young child? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Good morning. I don't remember if I understand the word design, but since of the beginning, I want to work or to do something related with the design. I believe the concept of design is like more a science, for instance.
Yeah. So design as a science, that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now I read that you had a friend in school that was colourblind, and then he suffered a little bit through being bullied because of that.
Yeah. Yes, and this is maybe the main goal to decide to develop this project. I'm not a colorblind, but I always want to see the design as a tool or as a science to promote a better world. And I decided to work with the colorblind people because they need some integration in the society, in the world society, because they don't identify the colors, and I try to understand how can they live, how can they work, and develop a tool with a simple concept to can be understood for everyone. Yeah,
that's fascinating. And so when did you set out on this journey with the ColorADD project then?
I decided in the 15 years ago, I worked a lot during 8 years in my research because, as I tell you, I'm not a colorblind, and I need to understand what is the problem for the colorblind people. And I work a lot with the doctors, with the ophthalmologist doctors, and I work with the colorblind people from different countries to understand how they live, how they feel, how they can solve the problems when the color is a factor important to identify all their daily.
Yeah, and I imagine there's a lot of challenges that are kind of hidden because they feel embarrassed about not recognizing color, and perhaps they don't tell people about it.
Yes, for 41% of the colorblind people, they feel in one time on their life the shame, the problem, because they are discriminated in the society. We can see what if the person is colorblind or not, and the idea of a wrong choice of color in the clothes or in the metro station or in the medicines or in the color pencils is very, very embarrassed for the colorblind people.
Yeah.
And my work or my research is trying to create some tool, a democratic tool to all the people, and wants to create a process they can understand the color in the products.
Yeah. So describe for us then the system that you've actually set up, because I think I've got a background in photography and in paint, so color was an integral part of both of those careers, and I think what you've set up there is very, very, it's a genius actually. I really love it. A very simple concept, but obviously nobody had thought of it before.
Okay. It's very simple, because this is the I think the reason of all the success of this project is the simplicity of the concept. I decide not to create something all new, but go to the old knowledge of all the people. You and who was in the school, you work with a little box of inks. Yeah. They teach you exist the three primary colors and the black and white. And the mix of these colors, you can obtain the other colors, the secondary colors. And I decide, after my research, to make the correspondence of the primary colors to a symbol, a graphic symbol, as you can see here, the red, the yellow, and the blue. And when the same time you mix the colors to obtain the other colors, if you mix the yellow and the red, you obtain the orange. And with the symbol of the yellow and the symbol of the red, you obtain the symbol of the orange. And with only three symbols in all the products, the colorblind people can identify the colors. They don't see the colors. They don't exist cure for color blindness, but they can understand. They can identify the colors. And this is the concept. And is a certain kind of a new language, universal language you can understand here in Portugal or in the other side of the world as you were at this moment.
Yeah, that's right, because it's a very visual language, right? It's a series of symbols and the genius, I think, is the design of the symbols so that they can be combined very easily.
Yes, and they can be understood for everyone.
Yeah. So you mentioned crayons and ink samples at school. So that's one of the applications where you now have some commercial traction with this system, right? So you have crayons and pencils that are labeled.
Yes, the pencils, the color pencils, is one of a lot of products exist at this moment. After I developed this language, this new project, this new language can be effective in the market if they use the code in different products. For example, you talk about the color pencils. This is a company who produce color pencils, and they put the symbols in all the pencils to guarantee the correct interpretation of the color. And my main goal in this process is include without discrimination. Yeah. I don't want to create a product for colorblind people. No, this is for all the people, and the colorblind can identify the color. But the color pencils, it's one of the more than 200 different products we are in use at this moment.
Okay, that's quite a lot, right?
Yes.
One of the more, more visible ones around that I noticed on the web is the transport system in Porto, right? The color coding of the various lines, the various trains lines has been, the symbols have been added to that.
Yes, it's part of the program I developed to testing all the project. I need to create different clusters in different areas to testing if the solution is already good or not.
Okay.
And I use in Comas, Portugal, and the Portuguese companies to testing the project. And in the transports area, as you said, we're testing the project now here in Portugal when all the lines in the metro are differentiated by the colors. And nowadays they use the code to guarantee the correct interpretation of the colors of different lines. And we don't have to forget 10% of the male population is colorblind, and the man is the guy who don't want to stop to ask for information. They need all the independence of this activity. And not only in the transports, but in the hospitals, when the lines to orient the person for different service.
Yeah, that's right, because they use colors on the ground, right?
On the floor, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. So so what do you do on a day-to-day basis within ColorADD?
Sorry?
What do you do on a day-to-day basis within ColorADD? What's your role now?
My role now is to guarantee to guarantee the correct implementation of this project in all the world. It's only in all the world make sense. I work in this project to support the companies, the entities, to a correct integration of the code in their products or in their supports. I create an NGO to work with the schools. Nowadays, in different schools, the code is already new, is teaching by because it's not only. You can hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah, it's come back now. It was breaking up there a little bit. We got something about the NGO.
We are working in the schools to make to testing all the kids are or not colorblind, to guarantee to guarantee the correct integration to all the kids in the school. This is my daily life in the last 5 years, and it's very grateful.
Okay, that's good. So, how do you generate? Well, what's the business model basically? How do you generate income for the business?
This is very interesting because I'm a designer, as I tell you. I'm a graphic designer, and I always believe the design can create a better world, not only to develop beautiful products, but they have the mission to guarantee a correct, inclusive and accessible world for all. But the process, in this case, this project, they need to guarantee our sustainability in all my team, because we are working in this process 5 persons at total time, and we develop a social business model. For example, the companies pay us a little fee to use the code in their products. If they have products to integrate the color, and the color is an important factor for promote their products. But the value of this fee is adjusted for the dimension of the company. For example, a little software company here in Portugal pay a little fee. Microsoft pay a biggest fee, for example, and this is adjust for all the companies, and the process and the use is not exclusive for anyone, because we want to go to all the world, and we use the companies to transport this concept for all the world, and this is our business model, and we are working. As nowadays is very common to hear the co-creation program. We work with our partners in co-creation, because they transport the symbols in their products, and they bring a new concept, a social value for the company for the society, and we work not only as in the past, as usually said, the win-win project, but a win-win-win process, because there's a lot of benefits for all in this concept.
Yeah, that's a really neat model. So how do you generate new sales? How do you get the word out about this invention and all the possible applications?
Sorry?
How do you get the word out about the information about your invention and where it can find application, and generate new business for that?
When you find this, now we are working in the last 6 months to after we developed all the clusters, all the concepts here in Portugal with Portuguese companies, now we are working to guarantee the correct integration, internationalization of this concept in all the world. We have three ways to do this journey. One of them is by the conferences, the media, who published the project and the ColorADD code in different countries. Another is by the products of the Portuguese companies, and the other one is by the international companies. For example, nowadays we are in Japan, for example, from a Japanese company in the United States. They know the code or the concept in the internet. The internet is very important in this process, because they bring to us all the worlds, and we can go to all the world in a short time. It's very, very important for us, the internet. They approach the people.
Yeah. So you're making use of technology to grow new technology.
Yes, it's only the one way we have to approach and to make the process quickly and effectively a good process.
Yeah. What do you see as the biggest challenges in growing this business?
The biggest challenge is approach to 7 billion of people. Yeah, if exists 15,000 of millions of colorblind people in the world, and I don't see where they are, because they don't have a stamp in head. I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
I have to touch in 7 billion of people, who include without discrimination, and this the biggest challenge. And I believe it's possible. Nowadays we can change the world for a better world, because the society are feeling that for example, the money is not the only. It's not a lot of. They don't have a lot of biggest importance, because the people is the important in all this society, and our challenge is live the color to all the people.
Yeah, that's a very very noble goal to aspire to, and so. And
I believe in this situation.
So in some ways, it's probably getting the system in as a new language for everyone at school when they first learn about colours, to also learn about the symbols.
Yes, this is, as I read in the newspaper a few months ago, this is like a new Esperanto, because the people can understand this new language in the whole world, and now it's already in use. This is learned in the different schools, and all the program we are working in the schools. It's not only to guarantee the correct understanding of the concept of the code, because they don't serve only the colorblind people. Now we are working with blind people. We are working with the three-dimension solution for the blind people can feel the color. It's amazing. We are working with the autist people, because they need a simple solution, a simple tool to understand the different supports of the color addiction. It's very interesting. And we are working with all the kids. It's important not only to understand they exist, different people or different kids who saw the colors in different ways, but it's very interesting, because they need a tangible support to understand the concept of the addiction. They need it's most like a symbol to guarantee the correct concept of the color addiction. It's very, very, very interesting.
So it's really about starting the education process very young, isn't it?
Yes, it's very young too. They only have 4 years of visible life, because I developed the concept, the research during 8 years, but it's only It's 4 years ago. I showed the project,
Okay,
and
yeah.
in 4 years we are a lot of work in this process.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's been an amazing journey as well. I saw that there's a lot of prizes and awards that you've won also for this concept, and one of them, I guess, which is probably a very prestigious one, is the Galileo magazine has named your invention as one of the top 40 that will change the world. So,
yes.
Congratulations
yes.
on that.
Yes, it's amazing because the project won a lot of prizes. It's in different areas, and if you ask me, I waiting for these prizes. The prizes and awards is a consequence of a good work made with a lot of passion. I have the lucky to wake up every day with a lot of passion to work. I love my job, and the awards. It's very interesting because we are working in different areas. I'm a fellow from Ashoka. Ashoka is the most important international organization of the social entrepreneurs. The social area is support this new language. The Zero Project is a project by United Nations for the good accessibility, is the good practice, is the functional area to support the project. And all the different awards, the project of the recognition of this new language is for us bring us a lot of motivation to continue to make this way. Yes.
Yeah. So you see the value of it, and recognition by peers and influential organisations like the UN, as you mentioned, and Ashok. Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, so what do you do when you're not working on ColorADD? What do you do to kind of balance?
I stay with my friends and my family. I think the people is the most important thing in this world, because when I don't work, I work with my family and with my friends.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fun. So so if you had a magic wand and could fix one thing in the business, what would you fix?
Maybe to guarantee the correct and the quickly way to bring this code to 7 billion of people, to guarantee the quickly integration in the society of all the colorblind people.
Okay. What do you see as risks and opportunity in sort of going out on a limb as you have with this, and being innovative and trying something completely different to solve a problem?
Sorry, I don't understand what
do you see as the risks involved and the opportunity cost involved in doing something completely different to solve a problem in terms of a business sense? That you may be going off on a tangent, or I don't know what.
Yes. I don't want to talk about risks. I prefer call them challenge, because I work in a completely innovation support, and the biggest challenge is the problem. The problem to be on the front line of the situation. Always I said I don't have problems and I don't have risk in this project. I have a biggest challenge. All days I work with different challenge, because we are walking in a new way to live this new experience toward the world. It's very, very, very good. Don't exist risks.
No risks. Yeah, I love it. So, all right. Well, let's move on to what I call the buzz, which is our innovation round, and it's a series of 5 or 6 questions. Hopefully, you'll have a really great answer for our audience, and they learn from your experience. So, essentially, it's designed to help our audience, who are primarily innovators in their particular field, and particularly in the area of the Internet of Things, and we'd love to learn from your experience. So the first question in that round is, what's the number one thing you think anyone needs to do to be more innovative?
Creative and crazy, but work with passion. I usually say I don't want to work only with, or don't create only with my head, but with my heart
with
too.
Your heart, yeah.
I think
that's great. Yeah, great advice. Really love that. Yeah. So, what's the best thing you've done to develop new ideas?
Maybe I believe in my idea, and I develop a simple and honest concept to guarantee the correct interpretation. And if the idea and the support is a simple and honest concept, to make the others believe too in my idea. I want to transport all the concepts for the different people, and this, I believe, we work simple, honest, and for all, and share all our ideas.
Yeah, that's really good, and I think ColorADD embodies all of that. I really see that there. Yeah, that's great. So, and do you have any tool that you use for developing new innovation or keeping track of projects or innovations?
Yes, as I told you, the passion, and maybe here I put the design methodology, not the design support, but all the concept of the methodology of design.
Okay, yes. Yeah, that's great. Well, I'd certainly, ColorADD and the colors that you're working with is very visual, so the design aspect there is very obvious. So, what's the best way to keep a project on track that you've found?
Maybe working, yes, with our partners, with all the people who want to stay with us in this process, in this project, work with him side by side, always the time, working side by side.
Working in cooperation, and of course communication, I guess, is a very important part of that. Yeah. Okay, and finally, what's the number one thing anyone can do to differentiate themselves?
Be serious, honest, and work with passion. Working for the people and with the people. I think this is the good support.
Yeah, there's a theme there. I thought you were going to say work with passion again, because I can recognize the theme now.
Sorry, but
no, that's fine.
Tell me, and I said what I feel. Then this is what I feel.
No, I think we're getting the picture here, and this is what it's about.
And I believe in this passion. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's the future for you and for ColorADD?
The future is reaching to 7 billion of people and promote a better world for all, working with the co-creation, and as I said, with our partners, and share these win-win-win concepts. Yeah. I think this is our future.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you for all of that. Now, I just want to come back to our competition for our viewers and listeners. And as I said, the prize today is a copy of the book, Erik, The Red Sees Green. And it's a story of a child that discovers in his art class that he's in fact colorblind, and how his parents, his friends and his teachers then help him to deal with that and help him to be the best he can be with his unique way of seeing. And what I thought as we're talking here today, what we could do is, if you leave a comment underneath this video in the blog post and tell Miguel how he can best reach those 7 billion people with his new system, so that, in his words, passion and equality for everybody, so that, everybody has access to these tools. How best can he reach those? So all ideas are welcome. Hopefully there'll be a number of ideas there that can be helpful to you, Miguel, and I'll get you to come back in a few weeks' time and have a look and award that prize. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so finally then, what's the number one piece of advice you'd give anyone who wants to be a leader in their field, in innovation, and in coming up with brilliant products like you have.
Sorry if I'm repeat again, but the first piece of advice, I work. I think we need to work for the people and with the people, not for the money and for the money. The profit is a natural result of a good job. I think now we have to create a good valorization of the person, of the people, and the result is good for all, of course.
Yeah, great advice. That is really good advice. So, and do what you're really passionate about, I think, is the other message that's coming through, right?
It's the best way to wake up in the morning every day.
Who do you think I should interview next on the podcast, and why?
It's good. For example, Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh,
Facebook
Mark Zuckerberg.
Creator.
Yeah, okay.
You know why? You know why?
Why?
Because it's colorblind.
He is colorblind. Okay.
Yes, the Facebook is blue because Zuckerberg is colorblind. And the most biggest problem of colorblind people is the confusion with the red and the green.
Okay.
And I said Zuckerberg because I wanted to approach him and put the ColorADD on the Facebook pages because in this way I remember, oh yes, Zuckerberg is great because they are colorblind.
Yeah. It's
a good challenge.
Okay, well, I'll edit this one in, but Mark Zuckerberg, look out. We're coming to get you courtesy of Miguel Nieva. So,
okay, and I invite you and the assistants of the audience of the podcast to visit our Facebook page, for example, or our website. Is very interesting because all days we put on the page a different new ideas, a different new implementation of the code, what happened every day with the ColorADD code in different areas. It's very interesting. And share, of course.
Yeah. Well, I'll put links to your Facebook page and also to your website underneath the blog post so that everybody can visit those. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Miguel, well, it's been really great to have you on the podcast. I really appreciate the time you've spent with us, and I wish you all the best with ColorADD. I really look forward to seeing how this progresses and seeing the new applications come out and seeing you reach those 7 billion people.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you. Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed meeting Miguel as much as I enjoyed interviewing him on the podcast. Passion. That's the key message that Miguel gave us today, and he certainly is passionate about his invention and making a difference for his customers, thereby improving their lives. What a wonderful inspiration to all of us. Of course, you can subscribe to this podcast via iTunes or Stitcher. And if you do that, you'll never miss another episode. So I strongly encourage you to do that because I'm hoping that these episodes certainly add value to your business and provide you with some fascinating insights from the entrepreneurs that I interview. All the show notes for this episode will be at innovabiz.com.au/Miguel Nieva. That is MIGUELNIEVA. All lowercase, all one word, innovabiz.com.au/Miguel Nieva. We'll have all of the links and everything that we spoke about in this episode listed there. Now remember, leave your comments underneath the video for your chance to win a copy of Erik the Red Sees Green by Julie Anderson and Cornelius Spilman. What we'd like you to do is leave some comments giving Miguel some suggestions on how he can reach a big global audience. So there's 7 billion people in the world and 350 million of those are colorblind. And we really want to help Miguel reach that global audience so that he can help those colorblind people with his system. So leave your suggestions under the video and I'll get Miguel to swing by in a few weeks' time pick the best entry and award that prize. Now, this is a really good one. Miguel suggested I interview Facebook founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg on a future podcast because Mark is apparently red-green colorblind and would have a special insight into our topic today. So Mark, I know you're busy. I know you must be a very hard man to get a hold of, but we'd absolutely love to have you on our podcast. It would be a fantastic pleasure to have you here and give us some insights into how you've dealt with the challenge of red-green color blindness, and of course we'd love to learn some secrets about your success. So look out in your inbox for an invitation from me for the InnovaBuzz podcast. Now, for our audience, of course, if you like these podcasts, we'd absolutely love it if you leave us a 5-star review over on iTunes and give us some comments, because it does help with rankings, and we really do want to rank higher so that more people learn about these wonderful entrepreneurs and their secrets to success and the ideas and suggestions they have for all of us. If you think these podcasts need some improvement, then of course I'd love to hear back from you there as well, because that's going to help us make future podcasts better. So head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. That would be fantastic. Now, until next time, remember, if you don't innovate, you stagnate. So think big, be adventurous, and keep on innovating.